Okay, so today's a fun day. I'm doing content strategy stuff for one of my friends, and he's got a home automations business. And so they have, they go in, they install like blinds and lights and AV stuff and make sure that everything's automated and makes it all cool and whatnot. And the one thing that he's really good at is that. And the one thing that he wants help with is a strategy on how to get content, how to get the right stuff, where to even put the content, which way to even shoot the content. And so tonight we're going to be going over, he's going to bring his notes. I'm going to bring my notes just from going over his social media already. So basically I'm doing a social media audit of what I see and then where I see we could go with each specific type of content. And also, like, for him, he does mostly business to business stuff. So he should be on LinkedIn because that's a platform for B2B, which I know for a fact he's not on it. So there's certain things, like when it comes to strategy, this is why strategy is not a one size fits all. You truly have to know each piece of the puzzle as best as you can know. And you're not going to know everything. So obviously take it with a grain of salt. You can't know everything because obviously the business owner knows their business the best, but your job is to ask as many questions and to get to know their business in a way that you can then help them figure out the best way to speak to their audience so that they get more customers, so that they get more clients, so that they have more impact. With him, it's going to be fun because I've seen his work in person. I've been to some of the locations that he's actually done work at. This one in particular has been really cool. And that was that was a really big project for them. So that was really cool. But this will be fun. And our goal is to create such good, or have a social media presence so that they get referrals and they can start getting deal flow through social media based on the visuals that they get from their content. Because right now, there's no visuals. There's really just point and shoot content that isn't converting. So our goal is to shoot the right kind of content to get conversions on active customers that would actually want somebody in their home to redo their lighting, their visuals, their audio, that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun. And then I've got one more that I am working on a strategy for, which will be really fun because by all intents and purposes is like has all the pieces and just wants to dial it in even more. So that one will be really fun because they have a strategy that's working so well. And they just want to put a little bit more intentionality into it. And so that's going to be a really fun one because we can already go from 1,000 to 10,000 in impact when it comes to that one's just like pouring gas on a fire that's already growing. So there's a difference between knowing which strategy to use for somebody who's going from 0 to 10, and then from 10 to 100, and then from 100 to 1,000, and then 1,000 to 10,000. Like there's different levels to this, which is why content strategy is not a one size fits all, because it comes down to what even is the business? What even is the service? What's the offer? Who's it for? What industry are they in? Does the person who's actually running the business want to be in the content? Are they building a personal brand? Are they building a faceless brand? Are they good with editing? Because if you can't edit a video, then I promise you we're not going to be doing super highly edited videos. That's just like a no-brainer. But trying to learn, our goal is to try and alleviate as much friction as possible so that your strategy, whatever way you're making content, it fits in with your life, not takes away from your life. Like, I do these kind of conversations in the middle of my breakfast because that's when I have the idea, and this is me building it in real time. So I want you guys to see me shoot content in real time. And not everything that I talk about is well thought out, because not all ideas start and then they form into real things. But you don't actually start out with a completely well-rounded thought. You don't start out with a final product. You start out with an idea. And if I can show you guys even just a little glimpse of the creative ideation process, then I've done what I want to do, is to be able to impart that into you and to help you guys feel okay with having ideas fall flat, having ideas go really well, having things go better than expected, and really just seeing all the different sides of the creative ideation stage of building something, whatever you're building. You don't have to build what I'm building. That's not the point. The point is for you to learn how to build what you're building in a more strategic way, so that it fits with your life, so that it fits with your goals, so that it fits with your business and your audience and your strategy. Because for me, going from 10 years of marketing experience and being able to edit and being able to show up in front of a camera and being able to do product videography and there's a lot of skill sets that I do have that you might not have. Doesn't mean you can't acquire those skill sets, but it does mean you need somebody to tell you, hey, you probably shouldn't do this type of content because you're gonna need to learn this skill set. And if you wanna go learn that skill set, amazing, go learn that skill set. But if you wanna just get a certain piece of content out faster, and that's your goal, this is why reverse engineering is a big part of the puzzle. We have to know what you want in order to even to start with a strategy. So knowing what you want is important, knowing who it's for, and then being able to use the skills that you do have already and just put a little bit of intentionality behind each step of the process. And you're gonna do 10 times more than you thought possible, because you actually have clarity of thoughts and clarity of ideas, and you know how to execute. And I think one of the hardest things in content is knowing that you need to be doing content and not knowing how to execute and not knowing why you're doing it. And so if we can cover those in some bit of strategy for you, whether that's in the school community, whether that's one-on-one, I don't care. But what I do care is, or whether it's you just watching these YouTube videos, I care that you get to create the type of content that actually translates to your growth and to your business and to your brand. And I'm out of breath, but let me throw this away. But that's all. I'm gonna keep doing the strategy session. This is what I do before a strategy session. So people think it's just like, oh, I show up for an hour and I have all these ideas. No, I've probably been thinking about your business for a good amount of time, and I've done a lot of research in the sense that I've watched and consumed a lot of your content to even get a grasp on who you are, what you do, how you do it, what you like, what are the little things that maybe we can incorporate more into your business, into your brand. And then also just being able to ask you a bunch of questions as to what skills, what time do you have? Do you have time to edit? Do you not have time to edit? Do you have an editor? Do you have, so if it's a one-man show, then we're probably not gonna do an intense amount of editing because you're running your business. What we could do is, how do you just set up a camera, point and shoot, and actually be able to create content? there's so many different ways to go about doing it. We just have to strategically put in place a way for you to do it that is the least amount of friction as possible so that you actually start to gain traction. Because without data, guys, all content, and you don't get any feedback until you put it out there publicly. You get zero data until you put it out there publicly. And so our goal is to get as much content, get as much feedback so that we can make pivots, so that we can make changes, and so that we can evolve as fast as possible, because that's the goal, is to get you to evolve your brand as fast as possible so that we can get you better results. So I'm gonna finish my breakfast. I'm gonna finish these strategy calls, and I will see you guys on the next video.